I've always found a strange sort of peace in the mountains. The thin air, the brutal honesty of the rock, the way your world shrinks to the next handhold and the next breath. It's a purity you don't find down in the noise of the city. That's what I was chasing on the north face of the Aiguille Rouge, a route I'd studied for years. I was solo, which is its own kind of religion. You're utterly responsible, utterly alone, or you're supposed to be. The treble started halfway up the crux pitch, a nasty overhang of crumbling granite. A handhold I trusted sheared off without so much as a whisper. I fell maybe 10 feet, my harness jerking hard against my thighs as the rope caught me. The impact smashed my knee against the rock face. A white-hot spike of pain shot through my leg, and I knew instantly I was in serious trouble. I wasn't getting down without a rescue, and my satellite communicator was in my pack, which was now dangling 20 feet below me, snagged on a protrusion. I managed to haul myself onto a small, precarious ledge. The wind howled, a freezing skeletal finger tracing my spine. The sun was beginning its descent, painting the snow in hues of blood orange and violet, beautiful and utterly terrifying. I tried to shout, but the gale snatched my voice away. This was it. This was how it ended. Not in a dramatic avalanche, but in a slow, quiet freeze, pinned on a rock face like a specimen. That's when I saw him. Across a chasm, on a parallel ridge I knew for a fact was inaccessible from any established route, stood a figure. He was silhouetted against the dying sun, but I could make out his posture, the familiar cut of his jacket, the distinctive red of his backpack. It was me. Not a look-alike, not a trick of the light. It was me. He stood there, perfectly balanced, watching. My blood ran colder than the ice forming on my goggles. I screamed, a raw, ragged sound, "Hey! Help!" The figure didn't wave, didn't shout back. He just pointed, not at me, but down towards the valley floor thousands of feet below. It was a deliberate, calm gesture. Then he pointed again, more insistently, towards a specific, shadowy gully that cut down the mountain face, a route I hadn't considered because it looked like a death trap of loose scree. "No!" I yelled. "I'm here! Help me!" But my doppelganger just stood there, arm outstretched, pointing at that damned gully. He held the pose for a full minute as the wind screamed between us. Then, as if satisfied, he turned and walked away along the impossible ridge I knew for a fact was inaccessible from any established route, disappearing behind an outcrop as if he'd never been there. Despair curled into a strange, frantic hope. Hallucination? Hypoxia? Maybe. But it was the only sign I'd had in hours. My knee was a swollen, throbbing mess, but staying on the ledge was a guaranteed death sentence. With a groan that was half pain, half prayer, I began the agonizing process of unroping and downclimbing towards the gully he had indicated. It was worse than it looked. Every step sent a shower of rocks cascading into the void. I was crawling more than climbing, my injured leg dragging behind me. The last of the light was fading, and the stars were beginning to prick the deep purple sky. I was about to give up, to accept my fate, when my hand, scrabbling for purchase, closed around something solid and synthetic, a strap. I pulled, and my own backpack, the one that I'd lost hours ago, came free from a crevice where it had been wedged. With trembling, freezing fingers, I unzipped the main compartment. There was my communicator. I pressed the SOS button, the little red light blinking like a dying firefly, a signal sent into the void. I huddled there, clutching the pack, shivering uncontrollably. I must have passed out from the pain and exhaustion, because the next thing I knew, the distinct thump, thump, thump of a rescue helicopter was reverberating through the canyon, its searchlight painting the rocks in stark relief. They winched me up, wrapped me in blankets, and got me to a hospital. The doctor said my knee was badly fractured, but I was lucky. The rescue team was baffled. They said my pack falling exactly where I could find it was a 1 in a million chance. They asked how I'd managed to get down to that gully in my condition. I didn't tell them about the man on the ridge. What could I say? I recovered. I still climb, though I stick to less extreme routes now, and I never, ever go solo. But sometimes, when I'm high up on the mountain and the light is just right, I find myself scanning the distant ridges. I'm not looking for danger or for a route. I'm looking for him. I have so many questions. Was he a hallucination born of shock and fear? A ghost of a future version of me who didn't make it? Or something else? A guardian spirit that wears our own face to guide us? I don't know, but I know he saved my life by showing me the path to my own salvation. And that is a glitch in my reality I will never, ever be able to explain.